For weeks, months even, Jimmy Kimmel and the mainstream media have been spreading the lie that not only was his suspension political, it wasn't, but that Stephen Colbert's firing was political, simply because the president sent out a tweet, CBS fired him. Except it would appear that Colbert has broke ranks and said, in fact, that is not why he was fired. Of course, humiliating Kimmel, as well as other left-wing stalwarts, people that have supported him, turning on him in his probably final, I think his contract is up in May. I am certain he is not destined for a renewal, but let's take a look at this. Shout out, by the way, everyone. I want to let you all know. People ask where to start with our coffee over on Coffee Brand Coffee. We have all available in K-Cups and ground, but K-Cups are a safe spot to start, and I can recommend strawberries and cream, our butterscotch toffee, which is flying off the shelves right now, and our rock blueberry cobbler. Blueberry cobbler is our #1 seller. All these flavors, remember, you get like an aftertaste of the flavor. It's not like adding that sugar, garbage sweetener. It's like you get like a hint of blueberry, a hint of strawberries and cream, a hint of butterscotch, and all are available with free overnight shipping on Amazon. I will leave a link to our Amazon store. Hopefully you'll give us a try today. Bill Maher slams Jimmy Kimmel.
Probably that's more likely. So what Jimmy said was just not, to me, tracking accurately. To me, it's a guy who, and this is, look, Jimmy apparently doesn't like me too much anymore because he thanked everybody but me. And I was adamant about supporting him that week and the next week. Like I said, I can't lie and say I think what he said was accurate, but I was adamant that he shouldn't be thrown off the air. He did a great show. I went on and on. Okay.
So because Bill Maher said, well, actually, Charlie Kirk's assassin wasn't MAGA, Jimmy Kimmel has turned on him, and thus Bill Maher has now aired that out. During a recent episode of HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher, the disgruntled comedian who was booted from his own ABC show in 2002 for comments he made about 9/11 hijackers, lashed out at ABC for suspending Kimmel for suggesting Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, was a Trump supporter. At the time, it was reported that Robinson grew up in a Republican household, but leaned left. He was also banging a trans dude. ABC, they are steady. ABC stands for always be caving. So Jimmy, pal, I'm with you. I support you. And on the bright side, you don't have to pretend anymore that you like Disneyland, Maher said in his defense of Kimmel. But Maher's tune turned quickly after he wasn't acknowledged by Kimmel, who returned to air back in late September. Now, Maher has lumped his rival into a category that is home to very predictable show hosts. Him and hosts like that, quite frankly, they're all quite similar in this regard, is that they are ideologically captured by one side. It's just not what I do, what I'm doing. And so there's a reason why half of the country feels insulted by them talking about Kimmel and Colbert, and it's turned off by them because it's just one very predictable point of view. And it proves that it's often not completely accurate because that was not really a smart thing to say. That was the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk was on the MAGA team, because that's something that the blue sky crowd told themselves. And if you're really that far in the bubble where you don't really see both sides and you don't, you're going to believe that blue sky point of view, Maher added, referring to the popular far left platform. After, this is late night show host turning on him. Now, this is a very interesting interview. As now Colbert has come out and done kind of this interview tour, his farewell tour, as his show is set to go off the air. And of course, nobody is in any bit of, nobody's going to miss it. I mean, quite frankly, Colbert was funny when he did the Colbert Report with his right-wing gimmick. I mean, you knew he wasn't really right-wing, but when he did that on The Daily Show, he was funny. However, Colbert just nuked Jimmy Kimmel and the left's late night Trump theory. Far left host stuns by telling the truth about the late night show's fate. So So says much of the President Trump ordered CBS to fire both Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, and Jon Stewart could be next. So says much of the left in the wake of the Colbert slow motion cancellation and Kimmel's 1 week sabbatical. In the article of faith for many progressives, far left politician Senator Pocahontas Warren and more than a few respectable news outlets, they all fed the theory that outright implied Trump declared war on the First Amendment by nuking Colbert's late night career and telling ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel. Facts, though, can be stubborn. Kimmel was never fired. He came back after a week-long suspension, something that wouldn't have been possible if Trump were a, quote, king or somehow demanded ABC shelve the propagandist. Kimmel didn't even apologize for slandering the MAGA nation in the wake of Charlie Kirk's September 10th assassination. Worst king ever, apparently. CBS didn't want to keep losing a reported $40 million a year on The Late Show, and the Tiffany Network canceled both Colbert and the show in total come May 2026. So that's only, 6 months away right now. But guess who admitted the latter? Stephen Colbert, in so many words. He spoke to GQ about his firing and the far left speculation about it. Now, here's what's wild. I'm going to show you some articles in response to this that are saying, oh, well, no, this proves that Trump wanted him fired, but it in fact does not. This is why you don't read mainstream media. This is why you tune into, overweight Midwestern guys like me, which I hope you're enjoying the video. And I hope that you subscribe. We're on the push to 2 million subscribers, 100,000 away. So maybe next year, that would be pretty cool. Quote, if people have theories that associate me with that, this is the far left idea, it's a reasonable thing to think because CBS or the corporation clearly did it once. But my side of the street is clean, and I have no interest in picking up a broom and adding to the refuse on the other side of the street. Not my problem. So people can have their theories. I have my feelings about not even doing the show anymore. But you'd have to show me why that's a fruitful relationship for me to even have with the networks for the next 9 months, for me to engage in any kind of speculation. Translation, Donald Trump didn't do it. Translation, he really was losing $40 million a year. Translation, Jimmy Kimmel out there running his defense saying he wasn't losing $40 million a year is lying. Translation, Elizabeth Warren saying that this was Brendan Carr and this was the Trump administration is lying. Colbert loathes Trump, and he's been very hard on CBS in the recent weeks. That's related to the network paying the president $16 million for maliciously editing the Kamala Harris interview to help her flailing campaign. Let's go back to this just so people remember how obvious it was. The top is the actual answer. On the bottom is how they edited it.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that
I'm sorry, this is the actual answer on top.
we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not.
So obviously, again, that meant nothing. It was a complete word salad. And then here's how 60 Minutes aired it.
Listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
But it seems.
Oops. Why would Colbert suddenly pull his punches now? Especially since it'll infuriate his angry far left base. He needs said base for the next step in his career. Likely a podcast of some kind to continue his partisan broadsides. Podcasts are dead, by the way. I mean, video podcasts, I guess, are still kind of a thing. But quite frankly, that meta, which exploded during the coup, it's kind of over. I'm not saying that there won't ever be a popular podcast, but nobody's starting a new one that's going to be popular. This is not going to happen. Just like nobody, for example, on YouTube. There's nobody on YouTube. There's not going to be another, fat bearded guy that reads the news on YouTube. The ladder has been pulled up, not by me, but by YouTube themselves. And that's why so many people go to other platforms, because, there's a chance still to actually grow. There's a chance to maybe find a new audience on new platforms. And that's why people leave. They leave, these mainstream kind of platforms, these mainstream outlets, because they close the door. He knows President Trump did not force CBS to abandon late night. The numbers did. Late night TV revenue has collapsed. The format is likely not sustainable moving forward. It's a relic of another era, like variety shows and, quote, must-see TV. More proof, if Trump wanted to cancel his satirical enemies, why are all the other late night shows still on the air? What about the far left Saturday Night Live? Why did Paramount just cut $1 billion plus check to South Park team, which has spent weeks mocking the size of the president's junk and casting him as Satan's lovers? Makes no sense. Not even Colbert could do it. And you see, late night TV experts show profits shrunk towards non-existent. This was just yesterday. We've seen multiple hosts leave the format. Deus and Mero, Trevor Noah, James Corden, Samantha Bee, Conan O'Brien, Hassan Minaj rush to mind. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon just shrank from 5 nights to 4. Late Night with Seth Meyers can't even afford a house band, a staple of the format. The Late Night Show has faded to black following Corden's 2023 exit, replaced by a comic-themed game show called After Midnight. Even the host of Jimmy Kimmel Live predicted the format could be gone in a decade. Now Fortune magazine is sounding the new alarms of late night television. Ad revenue is vanishing. In the first 8 months of 2024, it fell 10%, according to media analytics firm Guideline, and an even bigger drop the previous year. The publication reached out to Bill Carter, the author of The War of Late Night, to examine the current marketplace. Carter has been following the slice of the entertainment pie for decades. His views on the format should not be discounted. He sounds less than optimistic about the format's future. Late night was once a fabulous generator of profit because shows were cheaper to produce than primetime fare and featured abundant commercial time, explained Bill Carter, the author of several books on the topic. Profits the shows provide have shrunk towards non-existent. Left unsaid in the Fortune article that the modern late night TV show, with the exception of Gutfeld, all leans left, hard to the left. That chased countless viewers away. Not good riddance, but riddance. How far left host Jimmy Kimmel put it. The shift also reduced what's left of late night comedy in variations of clapter, where comedians tell jokes that aren't necessarily funny, but align with the audience's worldview. That's primarily what Colbert and Kimmel deliver 4 nights a week. More recently, Colbert and Kimmel both took part in DNC fundraisers, obliterating any semblance of neutrality. The entire late night financial machine has collapsed now, and it would have collapsed sooner if not for the coof. But now, more than ever, it's over, and I couldn't be happier about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.